So the next question I wanted to address is, what side effects have I experienced from hormonal therapy? Tamoxifen, which is what I was first on, and which is what I will potentially go back onto later when I finish the current regime that I'm on in menopause. If I might leave menopause when this ends, then I will go on tamoxifen. But if I stay in menopause, then I probably won't. I don't know. I've got to see what happens when that happens. But I don't actually remember everything, because at the time that I was on it, I was getting chemo, and my memory from my chemo time, I've got a call, is really, really poor. And so I do remember initially getting lots of bone pain and feeling a little bit weak and funny in my muscles, but I was also on chemo at that time. And yeah, so the main thing I remember is at times I had a little bit of bone pain. At times I would, like if I got up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, it's like it took a few steps for everything to kind of loosen up and feel kind of like well oiled in my joints. I was very stiff, and that's what I experienced. But was it tolerable? Yeah, it wasn't something that I couldn't just get used to. Certainly at the time I was struggling with the side effects of chemo, and that was kind of the big thing that I was dealing with. But something's to be said that cancer is like almost, for many people, a chronic disease. Cancer treatments, it's a marathon and a sprint, and that was kind of the beginning of my journey, and I wasn't burned out at that stage. I was lucky that I'd gone into my treatments pretty healthy and strong, and I didn't have any other health problems. So when I finished chemo, I was pretty run down, and I started the Zoladex shots, which initially, so it's a pellet injection, and initially I found them to be quite painful. I would go to Cancer Care, the place where I had gotten my chemo administered, and I would actually get the shots under local, so they would inject a small amount of medication that would numb the area. And then I would get the injection, and the whole procedure took about 20 minutes, and I would do that every month. And it was fine. I was in a lot of pain, and I didn't like getting the injections, and I can remember one time not getting them with local and just feeling icky and in a lot of pain after that. I think I've had so many now that I am numb. So flash forward, it's been a few years, and I've moved to a different part of the country, and I actually work and live remotely. And when I first moved up to the Northern Territory, I was doing all my cancer care, I still am for the most part, via telehealth. So I started giving myself these pellet injections, and for the last about year, I actually have been self-administering the Zoladex without any lignocaine, and it's fine. The first few months, it was like a mental thing. I don't know if anybody's seen the needle. I'll do another video. I can actually show people what it looks like. And it was a mental thing. Actually, administering the medication I had to kind of get over the mental block of putting something that large into my body myself, and like I felt like I was like a masochist, but I wanted to live, so I did it, and it was fine. I'm self-administering for the most part, still. I haven't noticed. So with the Zoladex, I guess the biggest side effects I've noticed with that is if I'm about to be due, or if I'm overdue by a few days, I start to get really bad hot flashes. And that's something I those symptoms within the first year of the Zoladex Fumara combination was probably the most debilitating symptom. That and the bone pain, which, you know, a few months into the Zoladex Fumara routine, somebody had the bright idea of, why don't we check her vitamin D level? And it was really low. It was like 16. It was Ricketts level, and that as soon as my vitamin D level was corrected and it was above 50, I actually didn't have the bone pain, and I didn't have, I could wake up in the morning, in the middle of the night, and I could jump out of bed and move without it being like, you know, I was the tin man that needed to be oiled. So I had actually attributed that to the Zoladex and Fumara, when in fact I think it was, for me, related to the vitamin D. The biggest thing has been the hot flashes. That's been really debilitating, and depending on, you know, if I miss the hormonal therapy, or so in the very beginning, it was right before it was due. I knew it was due because I would get really bad hot flashes. I'd wake in the middle of the night sometimes because of the hot flashes, and then I would get this, like, right after that, these cold sweats, and it was just really, really miserable. And sometimes, you know, I'll be at work and I'll all of a sudden start sweating profusely and have hot flashes. My glasses will fog, and I have found that, initially I found that very embarrassing.